station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston to the station, we are ready for the event.
RAI-1 TV, this is Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
ISS, this is RAI Television. How do you read us?
RAI Television, ISS, I read you loud and clear. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno Paolo. Allora ci siamo. Nice to have you here. Ci siamo.
And we're ready.
Buongiorno Paolo, io emozionatissimo.
Good day, Paolo. I'm very excited. I don't know when it's going to happen next, but I'm very excited to see these images and to have this opportunity to interview an astronaut. A big greeting to Paolo Nespoli, who's bringing our flag up high in the sky. Paolo has been in space since December 15th. He has two companions, an American and a Russian. And Paolo, if you can tell us what the goals of this mission are, since you're going to be there for 6 months. And Magali, good day to you. And welcome here aboard the ISS. We're talking about the Italian flag. Here it is. This is a long-term mission. It's one of many that we conduct on the International Space Station, which is a lab that orbits around the Earth. There are usually 6 astronauts on Earth. The principal goals of this mission are scientific in nature and technological in nature and educational. These 6 months are truly full of activities. And also, I'd like to remind everyone that Mr. Nespoli is an engineer who has had a training in the medical field. So basically, if you have to extract a tooth, you have to do it yourself. So it seems like in this kind of mission, you prepare yourself for things that are not in your field. So how did you prepare for this mission? What kind of training did you conduct? The basic training to become astronaut usually lasts about 2 years. And then there's a time where you're waiting for an assignment to a mission, and that's when you conduct other activities such as extravehicular activities, maneuvering the arm. This activity can last 5 to 7 years, in my case even 9 years, and then I was assigned to this mission. The training lasted about 2.5 years, of which 1 year was in Russia, since the vehicle that we took to get here was a Russian vehicle. So we had to partially learn Russian and Russian procedures, but also space station systems and all the experiments that you can see here. So I would like to mention that this is the Columbus module, the European module, which is one of the places where we conduct experiments on board here on station. And also, they told me that they had to modify the spacecraft to get you there because you're too tall. Maybe they were looking at me. But anyways, they had to modify the spacecraft because you're an Italian even taller than Americans. I'm also aware that you should be able to set a record in this mission. Remind us what it is.
Ragazzi, non lo so, non so se si riferisce al record di
I don't know. I don't know if you're talking about the record for permanence in space for an Italian. It's the only thing I can think of.
Ci sono stati 5 italiani che hanno
There have been 5 Italians that have flown to space so far, but on average, 10 to 15-day missions. So with this 6-month mission, in the future, I'm sure we'll exceed this record. But this is a record that's not destined to last very long, because there will be other Italian astronauts in the future, in the coming years. So these 6 months, this record will be overridden. Well, for the time being, it's an important record, 6 months in space, and 2 Italians in space. But this is fascinating. And on the other hand, we're wondering what you do for 6 months. Aside from the scientific parts and the working in the lab, how do you spend your days in an environment that's somewhat small?
Devo dire che sì, in effetti durante l'addestramento ogni tanto pensavo...
Well, I have to say that during training, I kept on thinking, what did I get myself into? 6 months in space. How am I going to spend this time? But instead, even these 15 days that we've done so far, I can say that this time is going to pass me by very fast. Because mission control in Houston and the European mission control in Munich, they keep us very busy until 7 p.m. at night, if we're lucky, if we get to finish all our activities. So we don't really get a feeling for passing time. So yesterday, for example, there was an eclipse, and I didn't notice the time passing. Plus here, if something breaks, it's not like you can call the electrician or the plumber. For example, our commander right now is dealing with the restroom, which is all taken apart right now. So there's maintenance that's ongoing all the time. Well, certainly it seems like there's no lack of activities. So you have also done many photographs, which is a hobby that you're still keeping up there on station. And you have sent down to Earth some beautiful photos that are being published by magazines. In Italy at night, there's one of Italy at night without clouds. So it seems like when you don't have anything to do, the viewports give you images that very few people have the privilege of admiring. True, I've been astonished on how beautiful it is to be able to look down at night. Most of the pictures are done at night, also because at night it's easier to see the geography. Italy is very distinguishable from space. It's one of the few nations that's very hard to miss, and it's truly beautiful. There's this boot with the crown of the Alps and the islands. They're truly, truly beautiful, seen from up here. And that's why I've wanted to take these pictures and send them down so that you can see them. And I see there's a little doll. Is that a good luck charm, perhaps? It's something that was given to you by someone close to you. This is a Red Riding Hood from my daughter that she gave me before the launch. And we used it on our launch spacecraft to indicate once we reach 0G. So once the engine cut off during our ascent, Red Riding Hood just started floating, so we could tell that we were in 0G. And so Red Riding Hood is conquered by the wolf, but she also conquers the wolf. So his daughter set to take the little doll up and conquer space. Speaking of children, astronaut is one of those professions that really fascinates children. So while they wait so that they can become astronauts, we are aware that you're conducting experiments that involve children down here on Earth. What kind of experiments are you conducting? Well, these are educational experiments. It's a way to involve kids and show them that science can be fun. So we're going to be doing an experiment coordinated by the European Space Agency that will grow some plants here on orbit, and we will distribute some kits throughout schools, and we'll grow these plants, and we'll make some scientific comments on how they grow, how much water they take, and so simple things, but they already give you an idea on the scientific method and how you can scientifically observe something simple as growing a plant. And then we'll do some observations in 3D so that they can also expand their understanding, and so that they can understand the purpose of a place like this, and they can concentrate on what to do when they grow up. Okay, so we have a lot more trivial questions as well. So, since it's not every day we get to talk to an astronaut. For example, what do you eat? So in movies, we're used to seeing things that you spray or that you suck on or powder things. So what do you eat in space, and do you lose weight or gain weight? I'm glad you made a food question. This is an important thing, so I brought a few typical things. It depends from person to person. Some people lose weight, some people gain weight. It depends, more or less. Since we exercise a lot, more or less we tend to stay the same weight. Here's one of the standard foods. This is powdered. So these are scrambled eggs. Okay, now I'm going to show you. So these are dehydrated packets that we rehydrate, and then we'll leave about 10 minutes so that they come back, and then we'll eat them with fork and knife. Then we have little tins of sardines, and we have little tins of meat. We have some fruit. We have little bags like this one. For example, this is curry chicken, and we can heat it up in a type of toaster oven, and then we can eat it. So as you can see here in space, you have to be careful with what you do, because then you can't find things. On Earth, everything falls to the ground. Here, they kind of go everywhere, so it's kind of interesting. Well, thank you for the explanations. In the meantime, you should tidy up. But for example, New Year's Day, did you have a special New Year's menu, or did you eat dry eggs and sardines? To be honest with you, we ate tins even that evening. The Russians gave us some little gift packages with chocolate, and they also brought us some lemons and onions. I'm not sure if this qualifies as a New Year's Day meal, but having fresh things here on station is not an everyday occurrence. So anyway, I'm sure it was appreciated. So talking about sleeping, you have many dawns and many sunsets throughout the day, since the sun comes and goes. So how do you establish the time There must be a time that you have established to get up and go to bed with the rhythms of daylight. Yes. We utilize the GMT time, the London time, so we're synchronized with the worldwide time, which is London Greenwich time. And we use a working rhythm that's closer to Moscow. It may seem strange, but we're based on the Russian subway, so that the Russian mission control personnel can get to work. So we get up around 6 a.m., 7:30. 7:30 we have the first contact with mission control. And then we check the work activities for the day. And then we work and pause for lunch and work until 6 or 7 p.m. This is how things work. We don't look outside much, so we don't really get a feel for this continuous following of dawns and sunsets, unless it's evening, so we go in the cupola and look down. And that's the time where Europe is at night, but the rest of the world is in daylight.
Quell'altra affascinante attività, che insomma è quella che colpisce molto noi.
Another fascinating activity that we only see in movies. So the extravehicular activities, does it ever happen that you walk out of the International Space Station, or are you always in there? Well, it's not like somebody can say, I'm tired tonight, I'm going to go out the station tonight to go watch a movie. It's not that simple to do an EVA. The spacesuits are very delicate. All pieces have a life, so they can always be used a certain number of times. So we try to limit the number of times that you have to use these spacesuits. In this mission, we do not expect to conduct any spacewalks unless there will be a need or an emergency, or something will break down or something happens. In that case, we'll have to go outside to go fix it. In fact, a great part of the morning I spent setting up my spacesuit for spacewalks in case of emergency. In a few weeks, a Japanese refuel vehicle will arrive. In case there's a problem with that, it'll be my and the commander's job to go outside and go fix it. So we hope that it won't happen, but if it should, we're ready, and I will go outside and gladly go outside to take a walk. Well, certainly it's an extraordinary experience. So, Mr. Nespoli, I'm sure you have visitors, because I'm sure even in space you can't just be by yourself. So Vittori is going to be coming. He's one of your astronaut colleagues that we've talked to. So he's going to bring some more things to make you work. But it should be nice to see someone new. But I'm sure it's not Vittori that you're missing right now. You have a family. So we just talked about your one-year-old daughter. How do you stay in touch? I'm sure that you miss them. Do you have the chance to talk to them? I sure hope that you get to talk to people other than me. We certainly await the arrival of the shuttle at the end of February, and then after that there will be a shuttle with Roberto Vittori that I'm looking forward to see, and we'll see what he brings us. But we do stay in contact with our families. This is a truly important thing. We have a sort of telephone available that we can use to call and listen and talk to more or less who we want to throughout the world. And then once a week, we have the chance to do a video conferencing with the system that's less sophisticated than the one we're using right now. The resolution is a little lower, but we can video conference so that we can say hello to one another. For example, yesterday was my wife's birthday, so we had a special video conference in which I was able to wish her a happy birthday from space. It doesn't happen all the time.
Sicuramente no. Nespoli, noi la
Surely doesn't. Mr. Nespoli, we thank you
concesso, Houston sta
because
chiudendo,
the time that Houston has conceded us is running out,
attività. Magari
and we don't want to interfere with your activities.
in più questa conversazione con la terra, ma certo le ha fatto più piacere parlare con sua moglie, lo capisco.
I'm sure you had much more fun talking to your wife than us, but so we wish her a happy birthday too. Thank you. We're very proud that you're up there.
L'Italia sia rappresentata.
We're proud that Italy is represented, and I can see you rotating in the air. I hope it's a sign of joy.
Ringraziamo quindi Paolo Nespoli.
So we thank Paolo Nespoli, Italian astronaut
In attività
in activity,
che dovrà tornare quando ingegneri
who will come when? At the end of May.
pensateci, mentre fate le vostre cose, cominciate a programmare le vacanze.
And everyone keep thinking when you're,
Che Paolo Nespoli
as you're getting ready for Easter and then your holidays, just think that Paolo Nespoli is still up there, 400 kilometers
per il progresso
up there working for a future.
devo dire che sono entusiasta del fatto che abbiamo parlato con Nespoli.
And I'm very happy that we got to talk with Paolo Nespoli for 20 minutes in space
Quando chiamo mia figlia,
without interruptions.
And station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
You appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, RA1 TV station. We are now resuming operational audio communications.